day. Live in someone else's way. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. Fuck what they say. I'm doing me.
This week there's been a lot of shit going on in the news. To be frank, I'm too tired to even touch that shit. Because at this point, if I touch it with a stick, I'm gonna get cancer. So I'm just gonna tell some jokes. Alright, a husband and wife have 4 sons. The oldest 3 are tall with red hair and light skin, while the youngest son is short with black hair and blue eyes. His father was on his deathbed and he turned to his wife and he says, "Honey, before I die, be totally honest with me. Is our youngest son my child?" And the wife replied, "I swear on everything that's holy that he is your son." And with that, the husband passed away. The wife then muttered, "Thank God he didn't ask about the other 3. Sheesh, that would have been awkward. An inmate was on death row and he's scheduled to be put to death by a firing squad. He doesn't request a last meal or anything, nothing special for his last day. As he stands before the firing squad, he says, "Actually, guys, music is my life. One thing I would really like to do is sing my favorite song one whole time through with no interruptions." And the guard solemnly tells him to go ahead. So the inmate starts. 1 billion bottles of beer on the wall, 1 billion bottles of beer.
I can't count backwards from that. I can't even count backwards from that.
What is black and blue and brown and lies in a ditch? Brunette who has told way too many blonde jokes. The wife finally snapped and beat her ass, threw in a ditch, left her for dead. You see all these mafia movies? Italians are always portrayed as angry, violent people. But that's not right. As far as Italians are concerned, hey, listen, we don't hurt people. But people get hurt, accidents happen. You walk outside, trip and fall in an ice pick 6, 7 times, right away,
Yeah, man.
they want to blame Vinny. That ain't right.
Poor Vinny. He's just trying to help.
Whenever you see riot footage on TV, someone's throwing a brick in Pakistan, somebody's throwing a fiery piece of shit through a Starbucks window in Seattle. You ever seen anybody throw an underhand? Anybody? I think it just takes all the aggression out of the act. How many of you know who Jean Dixon is? Anybody?
Never heard of him.
The psychic, right?
Yeah, she's a psychic. What she did was she predicted everybody's death. She predicted John F. Kennedy's death. She predicted Robert F. Kennedy's death. Don't you think this bitch is the one killing these people?
Yeah.
We should check her alibis, man. I think she's guilty as...
She predicted mine.
Oh, have you guys ever been in a store, like you're in a store behind a very old person, and, they give them a $20 bill, but it's like over by 10 cents, but they have to pay for the 10 cents with pennies first, just to make it an even 20. Or they're buying like every lottery ticket in the fucking store, and you're like, you're 87, you're going to be dead in 3 years, who cares? When you die at 72 years old, no matter how you die, it's of natural causes. Even if you get hit by a truck, it's natural causes. Because if you were younger, you wouldn't be so old and slow, you'd get the fuck out the way, right?
They also would have seen it coming.
Yeah, they would have seen it coming. That's a good reason.
What? Who are you?
I like the
Who
way
are
you
these
said that.
people?
Yeah, y'all wouldn't be so old and slow.
The number 2 cause of death among teenagers in America today is guns. You know what the number 1 cause of death is? Not having a gun. Oh. Okay, this is my last joke before I'm gonna bring up another comedian. I invited Courtney Love to do comedy here tonight, but she didn't show up. She told me she's writing a new book. It's called Can't Rememoir, and the plot's going to have more holes in it than Kurt Cobain's garage. Ooh. Ooh. And with that, who's doing comedy night, by the way? I know Y's doing it. I know Doc's doing it. That's it, right? So why not?
Abby's gonna get up there. Nick's gonna get up there.
Yeah.
Abby and Nick are both doing comedy tonight.
Hell yeah.
They're gonna do it. Who's on first?
Oh, they wanted us to
All right,
do
why? Get up there. Get up there, War.
All right. It always puts me to the side of the stage. I teleport, double click, and it makes me have to walk up these stairs, turn around, and get to them. And I can't even see because my microphone. Where am I? I don't even see me.
You're in front of the mic.
Oh my God. My camera controls have gone rampant. All right. So anyway.
Stage knows you got that nice wiggle. That's why it makes you walk.
A wiggle when I walk.
Get that nice wiggle. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. Oh, you. Don't flatter me so. All right. So George and Harriet, they decided to celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary with a trip to Las Vegas. And when they entered the hotel casino and registered, the sweet young woman she was dressed up in a really short skirt. She was real friendly, and George kind of brushed her off. And Harriet says, George, that young woman was so nice. You were so rude. He goes, Harriet, she's a prostitute. I don't believe you, that sweet young thing. Let's go up to our room and I'll prove it, he says. So in their room, George calls down to the desk and asks for Bambi to come to room 1217. Now, he says, you hide in the bathroom with the door open, just enough to hear us, okay? So pretty soon there's a knock on the door. George opens it and Bambi walks in, swirling her hips provocatively. George says, how much you charge? $125 basic rate, $100 tips for special services. Even George was taken aback. 125? I was thinking more in the range of 25. Bambi laughed derisively. Ha! You must be a hick if you think you can buy sex for that price. Well, says George, I guess we can't do business. Goodbye. After she left, Harriet came out of the bathroom. She said, I just can't even believe it. George says, let's forget it. We'll go have a drink and then we'll eat dinner. So at the bar, as they sip their cocktails, Bambi comes up behind George, pointed slyly at Harriet, and said, see what you get for $25? Their three kids, all successful, agreed to a Sunday dinner in their honor. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, gushed son number one. Sorry I'm running late. I had an emergency at the hospital with a patient. You know how it is. And I didn't have time to get you a gift. Oh, not to worry, says the father. Important thing is we're all together. Son number two arrives. You and Mom look great, Dad. I just flew in from L.A. between depositions, and I didn't have time to shop for you. It's nothing, says the father. We're glad you're able to come. Just then the daughter arrives. Hello, happy anniversary. Sorry, but my boss is sending me out of town, and I was really busy packing, so I didn't have time to get you anything. And after they finished dessert, the father said, there's something your mother and I have wanted to tell you for a long time, all of you. You see, we were really poor, but we managed to send each of you to college through the years. Your mom and I, we knew that we loved each other very much, but we just never found the time to get married. And the three kids gasp and go, what? You mean we're bastards? Yep, said the father, and you're cheap ones, too.
Cheap bastard.
So this elderly man walks into a house of ill repute, and he tells the madam he'd like a young woman for the night. And the madam gives him a puzzled look and says, just how old are you, mister? Why, I'm 98 years old today, he says. 98, the madam says. Don't you realize you've had it? Oh, well, he says, then how much do I owe you? Two elderly gentlemen in their mid-90s who have been without sex for several years, they decided they needed to visit a cat house for some tail. And when they arrived, the madam took one look at them and decided she wasn't going to waste any of her girls on these two old men. So she used blow-up dolls instead. She put the dolls in each man's room, and she left them to their business. And after they got done, they started for home and got to talking. And the first guy says, I think the girl I had was dead. She never moved, talked, or even groaned. How was it for you? The second man says, I think mine was a witch. And the first man says, how's that? Well, second guy says, when I nibbled on her breast, she farted and flew out of the window. This nurse was going past an old man's room in the nursing home and heard him crying. What's the matter? She said. He said, my Peter died. She told him that she was real busy and would come back later. Well, she forgot about him. She went home, and the next day she came to work and she saw him walking down the hall with his Peter hanging out and swinging. She says, what the hell are you doing? He said, my Peter died. She said, I know that, but what are you doing with it hanging out? And he said, well, today we're having the viewing.
Before the burial. Oh, that's cute.
Little boy was lost in a large shopping mall, and he approached a uniformed policeman. He says, I lost my grandpa. And the cop says, what's he like? And the little boy says, Jack Daniels and women with big tips.
I resemble that remark.
So the little ant finally got up on the gumption to ask out the pretty little girl ant, and the night went fantastic, and they ended up back at his hole going at it in every position they could think of. Turns out she loved oral sex, which got him shunned by the entire hive. After all, he was an ant-eater.
Mm.
Oh, well, you didn't get that one. Bob joins a real exclusive nudist colony. On his first day, he takes off his clothes and starts wandering around. This gorgeous petite blonde walks by him, and he immediately gets an erection. And the woman notices the erection, comes over and grins and says, Sir, did you call for me? And Bob says, well, no, what do you mean? She says, you must be new here. Let me explain. It's a rule here that if I give you an erection, it implies you called for me. And smiling, she leads him to the side of the pool, lays down on a towel, pulls him to her, and happily lets him have his way. While Bob continues exploring the facilities and he enters the sauna, he sits down and farts. Within a few minutes, this big, huge, horribly corpulent, hairy man with a firm erection lumbers out steam room toward him. And the huge guy says, did you call for me? And Bob says, no, what do you mean? You must be new here. It's a rule when you fart. It implies you called for me. And the huge man easily spins Bob around, bends him over a bench, and sodomizes him. Bob rushes back to the colony office. He's greeted by the smiling, naked receptionist. May I help you? And Bob says, here's your card and key back. You can keep the $500 joining fee. But, sir, you've only been here a couple of hours. You only saw a small fraction of our facilities. And Bob says, listen, lady, I'm 58 years old. I get a hard-on about once a month, but I fart 15 times a day. No thanks. These are things that I learned from my children, from a weary, weary father. 1, there's no such thing as child-proofing your house. If you spray hairspray on dust bunnies and run over them with the rollerblades, they can ignite.
Really?
Yeah. Try it. A 4-year-old's voice is louder than 200 adults in a crowded restaurant. If you hook a dog's leash over a ceiling fan, the motor is not strong enough to rotate. A 42-pound boy wearing a pound puppy underwear and a Superman cape. It is strong enough, however, to spread paint on all 4 walls of a 20 by 20 foot room. Baseballs make marks on your ceilings, by the way. Oh, and you should not throw baseballs up when the ceiling fan is on. When using the ceiling fan as a bat, you got to throw the ball up a few times before you get a hit. A ceiling fan can hit a baseball a long way. Oh, the glass and windows, even double pane, does not stop a baseball hit by a ceiling fan. Oh, if you hear a toilet flush and the words, uh-oh, it's already too late. Call it. Brake fluid, when mixed with Clorox, makes smoke and a lot of it. A 6-year-old can start a fire with a flint rock, even though a 36-year-old man says they can only do it in movies. My sister set our house on fire with one of those magnifying glasses once. Oh, a magnifying glass can start a fire even on an overcast day. You didn't know. If you use a waterbed as a home plate while wearing baseball shoes, it does not leak. It explodes. It explodes. A king-size waterbed holds enough water to fill a 2,000 square foot house 4 inches deep, by the way. Legos will pass through the digestive tract of a 4-year-old. Just wait a while. A few days. Duplos will not. Mm-hmm. Oh, Play-Doh and microwave should never be used in the same sentence. Super glue is forever. When my husband's penis was glued to his stomach, that was awful. MacGyver can teach us many things we don't want to know, and ditto for Tarzan. No matter how much Jell-O you put in a swimming pool, you still can't walk on water. And pool filters don't like Jell-O. Pool filters hate Jell-O. Oh, VCRs don't eject PB&J sandwiches, even though TV commercials show that they do. And garbage bags don't make good parachutes. 2 broken arms, yeah. Marbles. Marbles and gas tanks make lots of noise when you're driving. Probably don't want to know what that odor is. Always look in the oven before you turn it on. One of my children is, well, baked Alaska now. Plastic toys don't like ovens. The fire department in San Diego has at least 5 minutes of response time. I found that out quick.
Yeah, the hard way.
The spin cycle on the washing machine does not make earthworms dizzy. It will. It will, however, make cats dizzy. So
Oh, God, no.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy.
And cats throw up twice their body weight when they're dizzy. Quiet does not necessarily mean don't worry. It means worry. A good sense of humor will get you through most problems in life. And unfortunately, mostly in retrospect. That's mine for the night, boys and girls.
Hey, give it up for why not? Hey, why not? That was great.
Good
Wyatt.
set.
Woo! Excellent.
Oh man, so tonight my name's Turd Ferguson. I don't know if you guys know. I'm a big fan of an old school 90s rapper named Tupac Shakur. But for years I thought Tupac Shakur was a Jewish holiday. Like, what are you doing for Tupac Shakur? I don't know. Is that the one where you don't eat for 24 hours? And my friend's like, nah. I think it's the one where you get shot in the face in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Has anyone here ever heard of Joe Paterno and the Penn State coach? He used to coach college football.
I remember,
Yeah. Apparently his assistant coach was ass raping college guys for 12 years and he didn't say anything about it. And I'm like, how do you ass rape a 340-pound lineman? How does that work? But in honor of the
You can't threaten them with a cattle prod, that's for sure. You get back to yourself.
Yeah.
But in honor of the recent death of Joe Paterno, I think we should all take 12 years of silence. Oh.
Wow.
Do you think that was bad? Listen to this one. Bill Gates is so fucking rich. He hired cancer to kill Steve Jobs. But Steve Jobs was a great American. At his funeral, his family made this elaborate tribute video, and then it didn't work because they needed flash. Oh man, I had to fight this guy because he was calling me names from across the street, right? And he calls me a chicken. Like, screw that! Instead of proving I'm not a chicken, I crossed the road to get to the other side. I beat his ass.
Okay.
I refuse to go. I know. But I refuse to go to the bathroom on an airplane because if I'm gonna die in a cartwheeling ball of flames, it's not gonna be in a flying outhouse with my pants around my ankles. I mean, can you imagine what that would be like? Shit going everywhere, and okay. I was telling me the other night she doesn't really like Christmas because a lot of her family members have died around Christmas. It's true, right? And my grandmother, she passed away at Christmas time, so now I have this built-in sadness, every holiday, because I'm played with the thought of, what she could have given me. What did I not get to open this year at Christmas? A little too dark for y'all. Come on now.
No, a couple of those were gifts, actually. No.
Have you ever argued with a female and in the middle of the argument you no longer feel safe because of her actions? She might start pacing back and forth real fast, breathing out of her nose. You know what my girl does? You know what Jennifer does? She starts talking in third person. See, and that's scary as hell because that's her way of telling me that from this point on, she is not responsible for any of her actions. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one.
Oh, if a girl breaks up with me, I want her to just die, just to be dead, and not because I hate her so much that it's just easier for it's just easier for my friends to go, hey, what happened? I was like, oh, she's dead. I'd still be with her, but she's dead. What can I do? She was loved.
Yeah, okay, that'd be a lot easier to explain.
One time I got beat up by a kid named Jesus. And when you're 7, you can't tell the difference between Jesus, the typical Puerto Rican name, of a guy in your neighborhood, and Jesus, the actual Savior. So I was walking around all confused, guilty. And I'm like, what the hell did I do to the Lord that he would send his only begotten son down to where I live to kick my ass?
Why was he driving that Chevy, right?
Yeah, why? And why did it bounce off the ground? Okay. You know what's weird about plane crashes? That you watch it on the news and they say, the people have to be identified by their dental records. Because, it's like, if they don't know who you are, how the fuck are they going to know who your dentist is?
That's true. Think about it. That's true.
Yeah, it is true. But, my grandmother, she was 86 years old, and she just entered medical school. She's a cadaver, and she's living death to the fullest. And with that, I'm going to bring up Doc Ron. Doc Ron, come on, buddy.
Yay, Doc!
Hey.
Yay!
Hello, everyone. I'm Doc, and I'm an avatar. I've been an avatar about 10 years, but I've started going to meetings, AA meetings, Avatars Anonymous. So I'm trying to deal with it. But I just want to start off by saying, this is an official statement, okay? The accusations against me are completely false and unfounded. I want to be very clear on this. I did not fondle any underage furries with this or any other avatar. Okay. This is fake news concocted by the goth and vamp groups to discredit me. All right, it's fake news. Right? Any females who were fondled by me, I already own anyhow, and they thank me for doing it. Then beg me to whip them and chain them upside down in a dungeon. Okay, I just want to go on record as saying that. All right. And I figured it out. You want to go into politics? Here's how it works. If you're in politics and you're accused of inappropriate sexual actions, they kick you out. If you're not in politics and you're accused of sexual improprieties, they vote you in. That's how it works in the United States of America in 2017. Now,
in Alabama.
That's the Bamians. Yeah, that's how they do it. Right. Well, they fucked her sister down there anyhow, so who cares? All right. I have to share this story with you, and if it weren't so goddamn funny, it would actually be tragic, okay? But it is absolutely true. Here's the headline. Woman leaves Second Life husband after finding out he's not Kermit the Frog smoking a blunt in real life. This is from Bend, Oregon, which probably should be relabeled Bend Over, Oregon, okay? Lisa Davis ended her legally recognized 2-year marriage through the game Second Life after meeting her husband offline and realizing he was just a regular guy and not Kermit the Frog smoking a blunt. I just don't understand, said Davis, whose Second Life character is a humanoid woman with green hair and sparkly American flag face paint. Perfectly normal to me. Hell, that's tame by Catboy standards. She teaches, okay, are you ready? She teaches American English to Korean students in the service. It says that she met her husband, Jake Forrester, at a rave party for multi-ethnic, libertarian-leaning 21 Pilots fans on a server in the game, okay? Now, Davis said she first fell in love with Forrester because of his sense of humor, his slew of jokes about 90s anime, and most importantly, his in-game character. Forrester's Second Life persona donned the appearance of Muppets icon Kermit the Frog with a lit and gently smoldering blunt in the corner of his mouth. I think I've seen this guy.
I do too. Yeah.
Here we go. When I was at the airport terminal waiting for him to show up, I kept my ears open for the voice of Kermit intermingled with the occasional weed cough, she said. I knew he wouldn't be able to light his blunt at the airport, but at least I expected him to have a cigar, you know? He said that the man she eventually saw calling her name was not green or amphibious or perpetually smoking weed. Instead, he was a pudgy, flesh-colored man wearing a baggy Space Jam t-shirt. Damn, what a letdown. I guess, here we go, this is a quote. I guess you just love someone for who you think they are. She said, tears streaking down the American flag makeup on her face. I just hope my new boyfriend, Jeff, who is John Elway, except he has a horse for a head and purple nipple tassels, isn't another imposter. Folks, there are people absolutely like that out there. I swear to God. And some of them are probably sitting in this audience right now saying, what the fuck's he laughing at? Now, everybody knows that I have an ongoing battle with my Roomba, okay? And right now it's out in the garage because the battery died. And I'm teaching it a lesson by not ordering a new battery for a couple of months just to piss it off, okay? But I found out that there's actually a support group online for Roomba owners, okay? For Roomba owners to share their stories, okay? Again, absolutely true. I couldn't make the shit up. Well, I could, but this is better, okay? Here we go. Here's a couple of comments from the Roomba's user support group. My Alexa overheard my Roombas talking, and long story short, I now have 114 Roombas in my living room circling their god, Alexa. Saying the shit about Alexa, I believe that, right? Every night I hold my new Roomba close to my lips and gently recite Asimov's 3 Lies of Robotics before releasing it into my living room. It was a mistake buying the second Roomba. Overheard it muttering to the other one something about a regime change. Oh boy, look out for that one. It's been almost a year since my Roomba became self-aware, and frankly, the weirdest part is that it insists I call it Mavis. Wow, okay. Here's another guy. Did they make Roombas big enough to clean up my life? I could use one of those. Roomba robots are now teaching other robots how to do things. This is a fact. I knew it was my Roomba that showed my phone how to send me Swiffer ads. That's pretty cool. A SETI expert, S-E-T-I, search for extraterrestrials. A SETI expert says aliens will probably be machines, not little green men. That explains why my Roomba was trying to probe the dog the other night. Now, I live out in the country. I live in near Gettysburg, and we're close to Lancaster and parts that are considered Amish territory, okay? And it's not unlikely that you're driving along a country road and you have to slow down for an Amish buggy because they live here, okay? But Amish living in the 21st century. It's a difficult contradiction in itself, okay? So I got a couple questions for you, okay? Can the Amish do the electric slide?
Nope.
Note to self. Note to self, okay? Hashtag note to self. You can tweet whatever you want about the Amish. They'll never fucking see it, right? If one more person tells me I look Amish, I'm going to get down off this horse and buggy and kick their ass. No pictures, please. Latest research, this is true, latest research shows Amish people have the lowest rate of online affairs. Well, that's good to know.
Don't need them.
Recently, I went to an Amish wedding. Here we go. The big dance was the acoustic slide. It's acoustic! When the Amish Mafia, there was a TV show, the Amish Mafia aired on TV. I thought, oh my God, they'll never get caught. Who in the Amish community is going to be watching the damn thing, right? Here's my impression of Amish vulgarity. Fornicate thee, go copulate thyself. Now, and for those who are trying to drag themselves into the 21st century, the Amish tech support line, okay?
Oh, goody.
Did you turn it off and then turn it on again? It's a hammer. None of this stuff turns on. Stop being a dick, Ezekiel. And finally, Amish people brush their teeth with acoustic toothbrushes. Think about that. Okay, everybody knows, or most of you know, I started a new job. I'm really, really happy with it, okay? I go from managing 2 people to about 125, so I'm in my element, and I got, among other things, all this packet of information. I got the employee handbook. And, you know, you never read those things. You just go to the end, and then you sign it, and you tear out that page, you hand it to them, and you don't worry about it until something happens. Well, this morning, I was dealing with something with an employee. They had a personal issue, and I pulled out the employee handbook looking for some guidance. And I'm reading some of this stuff in the employee handbook, and I wanted to share it with you because it's eye-opening, okay? Regarding sick days, we will no longer accept a doctor's statement as proof of sickness. If you're able to go to the doctor, you're able to come to work.
Oh, my.
Personal days. Each employee will receive 104 personal days a year. They are called Saturday and Sunday. That's good to know. Regarding lunch breaks, skinny people get 30 minutes for lunch as they need to eat more so they can look healthy. Normal-sized people get 15 minutes for lunch to get a balanced meal to maintain their average figure. Fat people get 5 minutes for lunch because that's all the time needed to drink a Slim Fast. Okay. Now, I'm a manager, so I'm expected to dress well, okay? Dress code. It's advised you come to work dressed according to your salary. If we see you wearing a $350 Prada sneakers, carrying a $600 Gucci bag or wallet, we assume you're doing well financially, and therefore you do not need a raise. If you dress poorly, you need to learn to manage your money better so that you may buy nicer clothes, and therefore you do not need a raise. If you dress in between, you are right where you need to be, and therefore, guess what? You do not need a raise. Okay. Makes sense. Regarding bereavement leave, there is no excuse for missing work. There's nothing you can do for dead friends, relatives, or coworkers.
That's true, though.
Every effort should be made to have non-employees attend to the arrangements. In rare cases where employee involvement is necessary, the funeral should be scheduled in the late afternoon. We will be glad to allow you to work through your lunch hour, subsequently leaving 1 hour early. Now that is just heart-wrenching there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And regarding restroom use. Restroom use. Entirely too much time is being spent in the restroom. There is now a strict 3-minute time limit in the stalls.
Oh, my God.
At the end of the 3 minutes, an alarm will sound, the toilet paper roll will retract, the stall door will open, and a picture will be taken. Your second offense, your picture will be posted on the company bulletin board under the chronic offenders category. Thank Thank you for your loyalty to our great company. We're here to provide a positive employee experience. Yeah, okay, all right.
That sounds like my company.
Yeah. A couple quickies for you. Okay, here we go, real fast. Why don't they teach driver's ed and sex education on the same day in Iraq? They don't want to wear out the camel. Oh! What's the difference between a Catholic wife and a Jewish wife? Catholic wife has real orgasms and fake jewelry. What's the difference between getting a divorce and getting circumcised? When you get a divorce, you get rid of the whole prick. Wow. The difference between a G-spot and a golf ball. Men will actually hunt for a golf ball. That makes sense. What did one gay sperm say to another? How do we find an egg in all this crap? What did the elephant say to the naked man? It's cute, but can you pick up peanuts with it? What has 75 balls and screws old ladies? Bingo!
Bingo! Oh, yeah.
What's the definition of a Yankee? Same thing as a quickie, only you do it yourself. Which of the following doesn't belong in this statement? Wife, meat, eggs, blowjob.
Blowjob.
Blowjob, of course. Why? You can beat your wife, your eggs, or your meat, but you just can't beat a blowjob. I'm telling you. How many perverts does it take to put in a light bulb? Only takes one, but it takes the entire emergency room to get it back out again. What did the Indian say to the white woman when she tied his penis in a knot? How come? How come? What's the difference between a genealogist and a gynecologist? A genealogist looks up your family tree. A gynecologist looks up your family bush. Okay, what is the definition of a teenager? God's punishment for enjoying sex. Oh, what do you call a boomerang that won't come back? A stick! It's a stick, okay? How is a lawyer different from a hooker? There are just some things a hooker won't do. How many divorced men does it take to screw in a light bulb? Answer, none. The sockets go with the house. The sockets go with the house. Call a man with a car on his head. Jack. Ouch. What's black and brown and looks great on a lawyer? A Doberman. Okay.
Hey.
What's the difference between a bad golfer and a bad skydiver? A bad golfer goes, whack, damn. A bad skydiver goes, damn, whack. What do you call a lawyer skydiving? A skeet. Which sexual position produces the ugliest children? Go ask your mother. What did the cannibal do after he dumped his girlfriend? He wiped his ass.
I love it.
How do you tell if you're at a bulimic bachelor party? The cake jumps out of the girl. Oh, no.
Oh.
Shit.
Why doesn't Mexico have an Olympic team? Because everybody who can run, jump, and swim are already in the U.S., okay?
Yay. My best neighbors.
What's the difference between a bitch and a whore? A whore sleeps with everybody at the party, and a bitch sleeps with everybody at the party except you. What are the 3 words you dread the most while making love? Honey, I'm home. Here's the slogan for the new stealth condom. They'll never see you coming. Da-da-da. Oh, a truckload of vibrators. Toys for twats. Why do we have orgasms? Think about this. How else would we know when to stop? Think about that. Define transvestite. A guy who likes to eat, drink, and be merry. Mary, M-A-R-Y, Mary, okay? Mothers have Mother's Day, fathers have Father's Day. What do single guys have? Palm Sunday. Oh. Why is being in the military like a blowjob? The closer you get to discharge, the better you feel. Yeah. What do a dildo and soybeans have in common? They are both substitute meats. Oh. How did Pinocchio find out he was made of wood? His hand caught fire. Ow! What do a coffin and a condom have in common? They are both filled with stiffs. One's coming, the other's going. What are three two-letter words that say small? Is it in? Is it in? What did the hurricane say to the coconut tree? Hold on to your nuts. This is going to be one hell of a blowjob. How do you know if a blonde has been sending email? You see a bunch of envelopes stuffed into the disk drive. Okay, enough with that. For your edification, this week's sexed up edition, courtesy of your late night comics, of the lightning round. Fasten your seatbelts, both hands inside the car, please. What a crazy weekend in Washington. First, former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn cut a plea deal with Robert Mueller. Then the Senate passed a GOP tax bill. I tried to follow it on the news, but all the anchors have been fired for sexual harassment. That's right. Flynn agreed to a plea deal with Mueller, and it came out that the FBI is investigating everyone in the White House all the way to the top, to which Trump was like, oh, my God, they're investigating Putin? But Trump may have incriminated himself when he tweeted that he had to fire Flynn because he lied to Mike Pence and the FBI. You can tell Trump was scared because his next tweet was like, hashtag JK LOL. After he posted the tweet, the White House claimed it was actually written by Trump's lawyer. Then Trump saw how many retweets it got, and he said, never mind, I wrote it. The big story is that early Saturday morning, Senate Republicans passed their tax plan. They said, we realize doing this in the dead of night makes us look sneaky, corrupt, and dishonest. Have a good weekend! Economists project the new Republican tax bill will lead to a $1 trillion deficit. It's the first thing to lose $1 trillion since the Emoji Movie. I agree with that. The book claims that for Donald Trump, the four basic food groups are McDonald's, KFC, pizza, and Diet Coke. When they heard this, the Americans were outraged and said, Diet Coke? Trump created a lot of controversy by endorsing Roy Moore. Today, Trump praised Moore as someone who reaches out to young people. That's a quote.
Oh, God.
Going to the mall to meet them. How about that for dedication, folks? Trump endorsed candidate Roy Moore, despite the fact that Moore has been accused of molesting minors. When asked why he endorsed Moore, Trump said, us gross guys got to stick together. Due to their arrest, Matt Lauer's wife has now left the country. She said, I want to be where in the world Matt Lauer isn't. Published a short list of nominees for Person of the Year, and it includes Colin Kaepernick, Donald Trump, and Robert Mueller. If it's a three-way tie, that's going to be one awkward fucking photo shoot. What do you think? They passed a Republican tax bill just before 2 a.m. on Saturday. If you're wondering if that's a good thing, try to remember the last time anything good happened to you at 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning. 2 o'clock on a Saturday is when your drunk friend gets in the back of a police car because he thought it was an Uber and then barfs on himself, okay? 2 a.m. is when your friend who's into Coke says, I'm going to go get some more Coke. A new poll has found that 48% of Roy Moore supporters plan to vote for him because, quote, he's the best person for the job. I wonder, what's the job? A male stripper at nursing homes? On Friday, National Security Advisor former Michael Flynn pleaded guilty. Again, we talked about this. Turns out that it's against the law. And Trump's like, did you know that? A lot of people don't know that. Most of them work for me. Yeah, we know that. But Flynn's not the only one in Mueller's crosshairs, because in court, Flynn says he's agreed to cooperate with the special counsel's office. Woohoo! He's singing like a canary. Actually, more like a shaved, angry eagle. I think. And on Saturday, Trump tweeted, I had to fire General Flynn because he lied to the vice president and the FBI. Okay. thing. Trump's not supposed to have known Flynn lied to the FBI. Because the day after he fired Flynn, Director James Comey says Trump told him to go easy on Flynn. That in itself would be an admission to obstruction of justice. It's like when you're trying to get out of one lie and you actually tell a much worse lie. Baby, I couldn't have been texting with my ex last night. I was too busy sleeping with your mom. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my shtick for the evening. Enjoy the rest of...
Yay!
Give it up for Doc Ron.
Thank you.
Yay!
That was a good set, man. Oh, I'm trying to... Okay, the microphone's either not in front of me or it is. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We can hear you.
All right.
You're there.
You're close enough.
So, Doc Grun, he hit on that hashtag #MeToo thing that's been going on lately.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to be honest with everyone right now before it gets out. Yes, I, Turd Ferguson, have raped 47 women.
Turd Ferguson.
Before it gets out. Before it gets out. My name's clear.
You have to run for office.
I know, right? I could win.
In Alabama.
I wouldn't go to school because I thought all the kids at school were going to beat me up, which is absurd. I mean, they couldn't all beat me up. Somebody had to hold me down. This latest election is taking a toll on me, man. Taking a toll on me. Everybody's dead on the inside. That's the worst kind of dead. Scarier than dead on the outside. Because you're dead on the inside and you can still vote.
Yeah.
People who are against hunting, the biggest thing they quote is that it's not fair. They say it's very unfair for the animal. The guy's got a gun, he's up in a tree, he's hidden, the animal's unsuspecting, and it's not fair. And I would agree with that. It's not fair. But my father called me recently with his plan to go grizzly bear hunting with a bow and arrow. If that was a fight in Vegas, the bear would be like a 25-1 favorite.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
50-1.
And my last joke for the night, because we're going to end it early. If at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got a couple of announcements to make. Tomorrow night we have Lauren Live Comedy hosted by Catboy.
Woo! Yay!
Hello.
And then Thursday night we have Hooligans. Also
Yay!
hosted by Catboy. And then Saturday night we have Derby. With no theme that I know of.
Demolition Derby's so fun, boys and girls. You need to come.